title is An Important Day for a Curd Rice Eater. An Important Day for a Curd Rice Eater by Gavel and Pranav.
Abhorrent, dreadful, scary, ghastly, horrific, horrendous, infuriating, irritating marriages. Dear chairperson for the day, respected Gaveliers, and misguided humans. And a big shout out to the judges as well. Don't be fooled. Don't be fooled by these marriages. Last August 8th, I embarked on a journey with my family to the deserted Chennai airport. While my parents were busy doing work in the empty airport, I was stuck with porter duty, lifting up their heavy luggages and lugging them on top of the 6 trolleys that we had, which were filled with, of course, my mother's saris, my mother's jewelry, my mother's saris, my mother's jewelry, and oh, how could I forget my mother's sari and my mother's jewelry? You see, I come from a long line of familiars. A family tree. Wait, scratch that. A family forest. On arriving at the wedding, I took in the beautiful aroma. When an old lady walked up to me and she said, "Hey, no, I don't know who you are." She said, which when translated means, "You don't know who I am? How is that possible?" Turns out she was my mother's brother's father's cousin's sister's niece's nephew's grandfather's daughter. Now you see, at Tamil weddings, the main part of the event is the food. They usher you into the lunch hall like there's a bomb going to be dropped. We eat on banana leaves, and we have very watery dishes like the rasam. And this rasam has a tendency of flowing from one banana leaf to the other. And at the end of it, you don't know whose rasam you're drinking. An amalgamation of rasam with a sweetish paisam with some cut bananas is what's shoved down your throat. After exiting the lunch hall, I saw that there was a Nelanga ceremony, or the coconut throwing. For women who have played cricket before, this is easy. But for women who haven't played cricket before, it's not a sight to be seen. Sometimes, out of sheer luck, they throw it properly. But if they're not lucky, it may go for a 6 on the leg side. After that Nelanga ceremony, there was a congregation of men and women. I marched myself to the women's congregation. Vinayaki auntie was talking enthusiastically about saris. She said, "Did you see Mangala's sari? Red and black, naasame." Obviously realizing that this wasn't the conversation for me, I marched myself to the men's congregation. Kuttaplai Subramanya Venkata Narayana Balchandra Balakrishnan was talking. And he said, "You know, in our last argument, my wife said she won't speak to me for 30 days. A very witty reply came from the back, to which there was a burst of laughter. "So why are you sad?" And he said, "Today is the 30th day." On exiting the hall, I stumbled onto a conversation between a man and another man. I decided to eavesdrop. The first man said, "You know, my wife's an angel." The second man said, "How lucky, because mine's still alive." I went and got a good night's rest and came back for the next day, which was the exchange of wedding rings. There were 3 prominent rings exchanged. The first one, prominent, the engagement ring. The second one, even more prominent, the wedding ring. But the third one, the most prominent of all the rings, suffering. After going out, I decided to go for lunch. While I was at lunch, I again eavesdropped on a conversation between two men. The first man said, "Recently, my credit card and wallet was stolen." And the second man, taken aback, said, "Why didn't you report it to the police? You should have done that immediately." And he said, "Paisa, he spends less than my wife does." Realizing the irony of the statement, I went down and was hearing the cacophony of the Nadaswarams along with the gospel. Nadaswaram is a wind instrument, much similar to the Shahnai. The next marriage, I'm going to give an award to who becomes louder. After this, Vinayaki auntie cornered me out and she told me, "Did you see Mangala's nagai or jewels? She was wearing red and black with diamonds. Who bought those for her? She's making Bappi Larry look undressed." Obviously not knowing what she was talking about, I smiled and nodded. After this, I walked away and was quietly contemplating. After this, I realized that the wedding was almost over. But what can we take away from a Tamil wedding? What is that one thing that we must always remember to take away from a Tamil wedding? That one thing that we must always remember is absolutely nothing of each other.